Imagine waking up, grabbing your phone, and realizing that every private thought, every medical appointment, every sensitive work contract, and every heartfelt letter you've ever sent or received in your Gmail account is being fed into a massive, unblinking artificial intelligence. Imagine that your most personal data is being used as fuel to make a trillion-dollar corporation even more powerful. And the worst part is, they've already started doing it without a major announcement. This isn't a conspiracy theory, and it is not a drill. Google has officially shifted its policy, and right now, as you are listening to this, their AI models are likely scanning your inbox to learn how you speak, what you buy, and who you know. If you value your digital privacy, if you want to keep your personal life personal, you need to pay attention right now. We are going to dive deep into exactly how Google is doing this, why it is a massive security risk for you, and most importantly, the 2 specific settings you must disable immediately to claw back your privacy. The clock is ticking, and once your data is part of the AI's permanent memory, there is no taking it back. For decades, we've used Gmail under a silent agreement. We get a powerful free email service, and Google gets to show us some ads. But the game has changed. With the explosion of generative AI and models like Gemini, data has become the most valuable resource on the planet. Google is in a desperate race against competitors like Microsoft and OpenAI, and they've realized they are sitting on the world's largest goldmine of human conversation, your emails. We aren't talking about simple keyword scanning for ads anymore. We are talking about deep learning models that analyze the context, intent, and sentiment of your private communications. This is a fundamental shift in how Google interacts with your data. They are no longer just the postman delivering your mail. They are the analyst reading over your shoulder, taking notes on everything you say to train their next generation of robotic intelligence. Let's talk about why this is happening right now. Generative AI requires massive amounts of data to sound human. The internet, as large as it is becoming a closed loop where AI is learning from other AI. To get truly high-quality, human data, tech giants are looking toward private silos. Your Gmail inbox is the ultimate training ground. It contains high-stakes professional language, casual slang, emotional nuances, and factual data points that don't exist anywhere else. By training Gemini on your emails, Google can make its AI better at drafting replies, organizing schedules, and predicting what you want before you even ask for it. That convenience comes at a massive cost. When you allow an AI to train on your data, you are essentially losing ownership of your digital footprint. You become the product in a way that goes far beyond anything we saw in the era of targeted advertising. The risk here isn't just about privacy in the abstract. It is about security. Think about what is in your inbox. You have password reset links, 2-factor authentication logs, bank statements, and perhaps even sensitive documents like your social security number or tax returns. If an AI is scanning this data, that information is being processed and categorized. While Google claims that human reviewers only see a tiny fraction of anonymized data, the history of tech leaks tells us that no system is perfectly secure. Furthermore, once an AI learns a pattern from your data, that pattern is baked into the model. There have already been documented cases where AI models have accidentally leaked sensitive information because it was part of their training set. By leaving these settings on, you are essentially leaving your digital front door unlocked, while a massive recording device sits in your living room, documenting your every move. Now, let's get into the first setting you need to deal with. This is hidden deep within your Google account settings, specifically under the Data and Privacy tab. It is called Smart Features and Personalization. On the surface, Google markets this as a helpful tool. They tell you it's what allows Gmail to automatically filter your promotions, show you flight details in your calendar, and give you those quick reply suggestions at the bottom of an email. It sounds innocent, right? But what they don't tell you in the big headlines is that this is the primary toggle that grants the system permission to analyze your content for broader service improvements. When this is on, you are giving Google a license to use the content of your emails to refine their algorithms. To disable this, you need to open Gmail on a desktop, go to Settings, then see All Settings. Scroll down until you see the section labeled Smart Features and Personalization. You'll see a checkbox there. When you uncheck it, Google will give you a warning. They will try to scare you. They will say that your Google Assistant won't be as helpful, that your calendar won't automatically update with hotel reservations, and that your inbox will feel dumber. This is a classic tech giant tactic. They want to make the privacy option feel like a broken experience, but don't fall for it. Turning this off tells Google, stop using my mail to feed your machine. It might mean you have to manually add a flight to your calendar, but it also means your private conversations stay between you and the recipient. The second setting is perhaps even more critical because it relates to the broader Google ecosystem and how your activity is tracked across all their apps, including the new AI integrations in Workspace. This is found in the activity controls of your Google account, specifically under Web and App Activity. Within this section, there is a subsetting often labeled Include Chrome History and Activity from sites, apps, and devices that use Google services. This is a massive umbrella. It tracks the articles you read, the searches you make, and how you interact with AI features inside Gmail. If you are using the new Gemini sidebar in Gmail to help you summarize a long thread or write an email, that activity is being recorded. To shut this down, go to your Google Account Management page, click on Data and Privacy, and find Web and App Activity. Here, you should not only consider turning off the overall tracking, but specifically look for the options to delete your past activity. Google keeps this data indefinitely unless you tell them otherwise. There is an auto-delete option, but the safest bet for maximum privacy is to pause the tracking entirely. When you pause this, you are effectively putting a blindfold on Google's AI. It won't be able to look back at your history to predict what you might do next. It stops the continuous loop of data collection that fuels the AI's understanding of your personal habits. Some people might argue that they have nothing to hide. This is a dangerous way to look at tech. Privacy isn't about hiding bad behavior. It is about autonomy. It is about the right to have a private conversation without it being turned into a data point for a corporation's profit margin. When Google reads your Gmail, they are building a psychological profile of you that is more accurate than anything you could write about yourself. They know your health concerns before you tell your family. They know your financial status better than your accountant. They know your political leanings, your fears, and your desires. In the age of AI, this profile isn't just being used to show you an ad for a new pair of shoes. It is being used to influence the very AI that will eventually make decisions about information flow, job applications, and social interactions. Let's talk about the lack of transparency. Google didn't send a bright red alert to every user saying, hey, we're going to start using your private emails to train our AI models for our own benefit. Instead, they updated their privacy policies and integrated AI features into the workspace with vague descriptions of how data is used. This is why the tech community is so fired up. It feels like a breach of trust. When we signed up for Gmail 15 or 20 years ago, AI wasn't even on the radar for most people. The deal has changed, but our consent was grandfathered in through legalese that nobody reads. This is why you have to be proactive. You cannot wait for these companies to do the right thing when it comes to your privacy. Their primary obligation is to their shareholders, not to your personal secrets. The move toward AI training on user data is part of a larger trend called data scraping. We've seen it with Reddit selling user posts to Google, and we've seen it with social media platforms using your photos to train image generators. But email is different. Social media is, by definition, somewhat public or at least shared. Email is meant to be a digital version of a sealed envelope. By opening those envelopes to train AI, Google is breaking the fundamental metaphor of what email is supposed to be. If we don't draw a line here, what is next? Will they start listening to your private calls over Google Meet? Will they analyze your private files in Google Drive? Actually, they are already looking at those too if you have certain AI features enabled. This is a total ecosystem lockdown on privacy. If you are a business user or someone who uses Google Workspace for professional purposes, the stakes are even higher. Think about trade secrets, client confidentiality, and legal privilege. If your firm uses Gmail, and these settings are enabled, you could be inadvertently violating your own professional ethics or even the law. While Google offers a more private version of their AI for enterprise customers, the default settings for millions of small businesses are often wide open. You could be feeding your company's next big invention or your client's private data directly into a model that could eventually be prompted to reveal patterns of that very information to a competitor. But let's look at the broader tech landscape. Google is not the only company doing this. Microsoft is doing it with Copilot and Outlook. Meta is doing it with their AI on Instagram and Facebook. The reason we are focusing on Google today is because of the sheer scale of Gmail. It is the backbone of the internet for over 2 billion people. It is the key to your entire digital identity. Almost every other account you have, from your bank to your Steam account, is tied back to your Gmail. If your Gmail is compromised or monitored, your entire digital life is visible. That is why these two settings are the most important ones you will ever change. We also have to consider the long-term effects of AI training. Once a model is trained on your data, you cannot ask the AI to forget it. It is like trying to take a drop of ink out of an ocean. The information is diffused into the weights and biases of the neural network. Even if you delete your Gmail account tomorrow, the learning that the AI gained from your data remains. This is why the urgency is so real. Every day you leave these settings on is another day of data that becomes part of the permanent AI record. You are essentially contributing to a digital ghost of yourself that will exist long after you are gone. Google's defense is usually that the data is encrypted and that humans aren't reading your emails. But AI is a reader. Just because a human isn't looking at the screen doesn't mean the data isn't being consumed and utilized. An algorithm that knows everything about you is in many ways more dangerous than a human stranger. An algorithm can process billions of data points in seconds to find your vulnerabilities. It can be used to manipulate your opinions, track your movements, and predict your future behavior with frightening accuracy. By disabling these settings, you are refusing to be a part of this massive social and psychological experiment. Let's do a quick recap of the steps because I know this can be confusing. Step 1. Go to your Gmail settings on a computer. Under the General tab, find the section for Smart Features and Personalization. Uncheck the box and confirm. Step 2. Go to your overall Google account settings, find Data and Privacy, and look for Web and App Activity. Turn it off or at least deselect the options that include your history and activity from Google services. These two moves won't make you invisible, but they will significantly cut off the flow of your private data into Google's AI furnace. While you are in there, you should also look at a third, less talked about setting: ad personalization. This is the old school way Google tracks you, but it's still active and works in tandem with their new AI initiatives. By turning off ad personalization, you are telling Google to stop building a commercial profile based on your interests. Again, they will warn you that ads will be less relevant. Let them be irrelevant. I would rather see an ad for a product I don't want than a product that is being pushed to me because an AI analyzed my private emails to determine my deepest insecurities. Tech enthusiasts often feel like they have to accept these changes to stay current. We want the coolest features, the fastest replies, and the smartest assistants. But we need to start asking ourselves if these features are truly adding value to our lives or if they are just shiny distractions designed to make us more comfortable with our own surveillance. Is an AI-generated summary of a 5-minute email really worth the cost of your privacy? Most of the time, the answer is a resounding no. We are being sold a version of the future that is highly efficient but completely hollow on the inside. Another thing to keep in mind is the hardware side of this. If you are using a Pixel phone or a Chromebook, Google has even deeper hooks into your daily life. The integration between your hardware and your Gmail means that the AI training isn't just happening in the cloud, it is happening on your device. This creates a feedback loop where the more you use your devices, the more data you provide, and the more trapped you become in the ecosystem. Disabling the Gmail settings is just the first step in a larger process of digital decluttering and privacy protection. For those of you who want to go even further, consider looking into encrypted email providers like ProtonMail or Tutanota. These services are built from the ground up, with privacy as the primary feature, not a secondary checkbox. They use end-to-end encryption, meaning even the service provider cannot read your emails, and therefore, they cannot use them to train AI. Transitioning away from Gmail is a big move, but given the direction Google is heading, it is a move that more and more tech-savvy users are making every day. But if you aren't ready to leave Gmail, you must at least master the settings. Google counts on the fact that 99% of users will never open the settings menu. They count on your inertia. By taking 5 minutes today to navigate those menus, you are putting yourself in the top 1% of informed users. You are taking control of your digital destiny. You are saying that your inbox is yours, not a laboratory for AI developers in Mountain View. The landscape of the internet is changing, and the era of free services is coming to an end in a way we never expected. We used to pay with our attention. Now we are paying with our very essence. Every time you write an email to a friend about a personal struggle, you are giving away a piece of your humanity to a machine. By disabling these training settings, You are preserving that humanity. You are keeping your conversations between humans where they belong. Let's talk about the broader implications for the tech industry. If Google is allowed to do this without a fight, it sets the standard for every other company. If Gmail data is fair game, then why not your medical records? Why not your private cloud storage? Why not the data from your smart home cameras? This is a slippery slope that only goes in one direction. We have to draw the line at personal communication. Email is the foundation of our professional and personal lives. It is the last place where we should be subjected to AI surveillance. I also want to mention the legal protections, or lack thereof. In most parts of the world, privacy laws are years behind the technology. The lawmakers are still trying to understand how social media works, while the tech giants have already moved on to AI data harvesting. This means you cannot rely on the government to protect you. You are your own best advocate. Taking these steps in your Google settings is an act of self-defense in a digital world that is becoming increasingly hostile to the individual. As we move forward, AI will only become more integrated into our lives. We will see it in our cars, our homes, and our workplaces. But integration shouldn't mean total transparency of the individual to the corporation. We deserve to have tools that work for us, not tools that use us. By turning off these two settings, you are sending a message to Google. You are telling them that you see what they are doing and you do not consent. If enough people do this, it will hit them where it hurts, their data supply. Some of you might find that after disabling these settings, your Gmail experience stays almost exactly the same. You might not even notice the difference. And that is the most revealing part of all. It shows that these smart features were never really for your benefit. They were for Google's benefit. They were a way to get you to agree to data collection under the guise of convenience. If the service still works fine without them, then the trade-off was never worth it in the first place. Let's take a second to look at the future of Gmail. Google is already pushing Gemini deep into the interface. They want you to use AI for everything from writing invitations to analyzing your spending habits. Every time you interact with these AI prompts, you are providing more data. Even with the main settings turned off, every specific interaction with the AI sidebar is a new data point. Be careful with how much you rely on these new tools. They are designed to be addictive and helpful, but they are also trackers in disguise. The tech community needs to stay vigilant. Every time there is an update to Gmail, you should recheck your settings. Companies like Google have a habit of introducing new categories of tracking that aren't covered by your old opt-outs. They call it a new feature, but it's often just a new way to get around your privacy preferences. Stay informed, read the tech news, and keep an eye on your account dashboard. Your privacy is not a one-and-done task. It is a continuous process. I want to speak directly to those who feel overwhelmed by this. It feels like we are losing the battle for privacy every single day. But remember, every setting you change is a victory. Every bit of data you withhold is a win for the individual. You don't have to be a computer scientist to protect yourself. You just have to be willing to look under the hood and flip a few switches. The two settings we talked about today are the biggest ones, but they are just the beginning of what you can do to take back your digital life. Think about the sheer volume of emails Google has access to. Billions of messages a day. By opting out, you are removing your voice from their choir. You are ensuring that your unique way of speaking, your personal details, and your life's work aren't being used to build a machine that could eventually be used to replace your output or manipulate your reality. This is about protecting the future of who you are as a digital being. The June 15th lockdown that everyone is talking about in the tech space isn't just about one update. It's about a shift in the corporate mindset. It's the day the internet becomes even more of a closed garden where the owners see everything that happens inside. By acting now, you are making sure you have an exit path. You are making sure that your corner of the garden remains private. Don't wait until the AI is so integrated that you can't find the off switch. Do it today. In conclusion, the message is simple. Google is reading your Gmail to train its AI, and if you don't like that, you have to stop them. They won't stop themselves. Go into your settings, find smart features and personalization, and uncheck it. Then go to your activity controls and pause your web and app activity. It takes less time than drinking a cup of coffee, but the benefits for your privacy will last for years. Your inbox should be a private space for communication, not a training manual for a robot. We live in a world where data is power, and right now, you are giving away that power for free. It is time to take it back. It is time to remind these companies that we are users, not assets. We are people, not data points. Take control of your Gmail, take control of your privacy, and stay tuned to the latest changes in the tech world. The more we know, the better we can protect ourselves in this brave new world of artificial intelligence. Remember, technology should serve you. It should make your life better without taking away your rights. Gmail is a tool, not a trap. By mastering these settings, you keep it that way. You can still enjoy the benefits of a modern email service while keeping the unblinking eye of AI out of your private business. Stay safe out there, keep your data secure, and don't let the tech giants dictate the terms of your digital life. You have the power to stay private. Use it. Every email you send is a piece of your story. Every archived message is a piece of your history. Don't let that history be used as a training set for a commercial algorithm. Your life is not a commodity, and your privacy is worth more than any convenience feature. Take the steps today to lock down your Google account and protect your emails. The AI race is happening at full speed, but you don't have to be the fuel for the engine. Draw your line in the sand and keep your personal data where it belongs. With you, as you go about your day, think about the small changes you can make. Maybe you start using a different search engine. Maybe you switch to a more private browser. Or maybe you just become more aware of the permissions you grant to apps. Each of these steps contributes to a more secure and private digital existence. Gmail is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a big one. Start there and see how much better it feels to know that your private thoughts are truly private again. The tech giants will keep moving forward, and they will keep trying to find new ways to extract value from us. But as long as we stay informed and stay proactive, we can maintain our autonomy. Don't be afraid to click that settings button. Don't be afraid to uncheck the box. It is your right to be private, and it is your responsibility to defend that right. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and always keep your tech in check. Your future self will thank you for the 5 minutes you spent today protecting your Gmail. Keep your inbox for your eyes only, and keep your data out of the AI training pool. It's your mail. Make sure it stays that way.